The defense minister of Norway accuses Russia of a massive nuclear fleet on the Kola Peninsula near NATO nations. We are hearing that uh, indeed the NATO is saying, Mark Rutte is saying that we're still thinking about sending Tomahawks to Ukraine to use against Russia. There's been a big attack on Russia in apartment buildings. Russia's claiming massive retaliation will come for it. And yet, at the same time, uh, the Russians are still talking and saying they're negotiating with people in Trump's administration and being particularly thankful to Trump for understanding Russia. So, guys, what's going on? And China is, of course, trying to seduce us into a trade deal. Well, we're going to get straight into it, my friends. We're going to see what's going on. I said, hey, what's going on? That's a terrible song. But anyway, we're going to do share here. Share screen. Whoops, I'm on the wrong spot. Hang on. Ay, 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 ay. Give me a second. Pardon me for the delay here. It takes a minute to set everything up. All right, my friends, here we are. Indeed, the Secretary of Defense of NATO, not NATO, of Norway. We'll start with an N, right? He's saying that Putin's amassing nuclear fleet just miles from the NATO border, he claims, in preparation for war. Now, Norway has been usually kind of quiet about these things. Norway is a country that didn't want to be part of the EU. Thumbs up to them for that. They never went for it in the first place. So they haven't been the big saber rattling country like Poland or Germany or UK, or especially, you know, Ukraine, which is all in the middle of it. So it's kind of interesting that they've taken a stance, but they're seeing things and they're concerned about it because it's next to Norway. They're the closest NATO nation that has to deal with this. Now, we know this is a big defense region for Russia. I'll show it to you here in a minute. So, quite a few statements going here. His name is Mr. Sandvik. So he was telling the Telegraph this. He says Russia's building up on the Kola Peninsula, building up where one of the largest arsenals of nuclear warheads in the world is located. He said, we are the eyes and ears of NATO in the air because they're close to it. And we see that they're testing new weapons, that they are, for example, hypersonic missiles, and they're testing nuclear-driven torpedoes and nuclear warheads. Those nuclear-driven torpedoes are the ones we really got to worry about. That Poseidon torpedo, which could carry the Sarbama, the full-scale Sarbama, off the coast of Britain. The tsunami would wash over the entire Britain. If they if they salt it with cobalt 60, nothing will be there again. So Russia's got some serious weapons. So this is something to be concerned with. That's considered a after the fact weapon, but who knows? Um, who knows? So let's have a look at the Kola Peninsula here. Is it right up here, as you can see, in the Murmansk Oblast, and we know that the Murmansk region, they got a lot of naval bases and air bases up here in this part of Russia, because it's the one place when the weather is not too bad, they can still slip around and get into the Atlantic. And so the claim that Mr. Sandvik was making was that, hey, we got a super chat. Leslie, thank you so much. Salute to Leslie for the super chat. We got one early on. I really appreciate that. How you doing, Leslie? All righty. Leslie was friends with the family of one of the guys that used to work for me in the HART program, building hybrid rockets, launching House G balloons, and he lost his life working on this Spaceship One for Burt Rutan. Spaceship Two, actually, cold motor test, cold flow test of the engine for that thing. He and two other guys. But anyway, just a little background there. Anyway, so let's get back to the news here. Yeah, she knew him really well. Anyway, so let's get back into it here. So this oblast here is where they've got tons of activity, and as the Norwegians say, that one of the largest nuclear arsenals in the world is based right here, because they want to be able to get out from there. Now, as you might recall, the late great Dr. Peter Vincent Pry said one difference in Russian submarines and American submarines is they can launch from the port. They don't have to get out to sea. They can launch right off the docks, straight out of their missile tubes. They're set up different than we are. Our configuration is that we launch at sea with our nuclear missiles, nuclear ICBMs, excuse me. But Russians have got a different configuration, so they don't even have to get out to sea. And from this point, yeah, they can reach the United States with those and all their other stuff too. So just something to think about here. And it's yeah, Glenn May. He was a great guy, Glenn May. Really great guy. Might talk about him when we get through the news section. Alrighty, guys. So you can see what part of Russia this is in. Now, the thing that's interesting, one reason that Russia threw a fit when Finland joined Finland joined a little bit later, is if we blow this up, you can see there's a long border reaching up into here with Finland. And there's one highway that goes up there, and it's real close to the Finnish border. And Finland could attack that highway left and right. I think there's a rail line right next to it too. But there's just one long highway that follows real close to the Finnish border, all the way up here to the Murmansk Oblast, or the that's what we usually refer to it by, but it is the Kola Peninsula right here. Yeah, Finland and NATO through Finland can make some severe attacks on that. So it's really interesting that two of the most important, vital Russian military sites is up here in the Kola Peninsula, and of course over here in their exclave or enclave, what do you want to call Kaliningrad, which is kind of like a extra large aircraft carrier in the middle of the land because it's kind of unsinkable. But we know that some people on our side have been talking about taking Kaliningrad, which would be, wow, that would be World War III. That would be World War III. But anyway, guys, so there we are. That is where the Kola Peninsula is at. And quite frankly, although it don't get as cold there as Alaska, from looking at this, record below is 39 below. That's their 39.4. Is that, oh, that's their record? 38.9 in Fahrenheit. Hmm. Because I guess it's out in the ocean, it's got the ocean around it. Well, look at this picture here. Why did it look that? That looks just like Alaska. Wow, that looks just like Alaska. Man, I could feel at home there. Oh, I've just done a video talking about Mount Hayes and the UFO reports. I'm going to be posting in a few days over on Galactic Gregs, so keep an eye out for that. NATO General Secretary, and I'm shooting that idea down. NATO General Secretary says provision for Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine is still under review by Trump. Trump's been left and right and up and down on that. He's talked about it quite a bit. So we'll see what comes of this. But, it's just putting more pressure on Russia, that and the sanctions. So, of course, Zelensky had said that earlier. Now, whether or not that's really the case, we don't know where Trump's at on that. Trump has probably been using that as a bargaining chip all along. If he sends them over, if he actually goes through with it, this writer here makes the case that this could trigger World War III. He really is concerned about so Russia's response to Tomahawk strikes would be staggering. This is according to Russia's head of state. I guess that's Vladimir Putin. He said they should keep them from themselves, suggesting that we may need them soon. Is he talking about dealing with China? Well, that's Putin saying we're going to need our tomahawks. Well, that's in fact a true statement. That's in fact a true statement. Anyway, but I hope he don't mean we'll need them against Russia. Don't think so. I hope not. Anyway, NATO could drag us into anything, though. NATO could really drag us in. The chat room stopped. That's interesting. Anyway, so somebody say hi. Let's see. There we go. Overnight drone attack hits Moscow high rise, and Putin warns of overwhelming response. Of course, that's back to Ukraine. And that's an ugly war over there. There's no two ways around it. God bless us all. Amen to that. So, No pressure works on Russia, according to the Kremlin. And all these sanctions, it has absolutely no effect. They always say that. They always say. And in the past, the sanctions that were levied on them didn't hurt them. That's true in the past. But they are acting like they're feeling some pain from these particular sanctions because we're trying to get, and even India and Russia talk like they're talking, no, India and China talk like they're talking about not buying the Russian oil. We'll see where that goes. India would be more likely not to than China. But we'll see how that all plays out. So we've got Dmitry, what's his name here? Kirill Dmitry, Kremlin special envoy. He says that Russia's in talks with members of Donald Trump's team. That's what he's saying right here. And he says, we'll be meeting with some members of the Trump administration team. I think it's very important we have dialogue because President Trump has already done a lot to solve lots of world conflicts. Hmm. And he goes on. He says, frankly, we do not believe that all of these sanctions have significant impact on the Russian economy because the price of oil in the world will rise and Russia will sell just a fewer gallons at a higher price. So he says we'll still make money. For sure, the conflict in Ukraine will have a diplomatic solution, he says. So, so we'll have discussion of how to move forward and make sure that Russian interests are taken into account, he says. Well, and it says he praised Trump for avoiding escalation of World War III. And he claimed that Trump has achieved the first ceasefire on heat and energy infrastructure we've had. I don't know what he means by that. But apparently they think that Biden had us on a hotter path to World War III and maybe Trump cooled it down a little bit. Somewhere, I don't see it in this article, but somewhere I got a couple of articles up on that he said that Trump was the first president that actually understood Russia's position. Where's that? Is it in this article? He said that Trump actually understood where Russia was coming from. Well, I kind of explained where Russia was coming from. So, don't mean they're right, but we can understand where they're coming from. So, sure, you can't trust anyone anymore. You're right, Jeremy. All right, especially any politician. Uh, this is, yeah, this is him again talking. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, let's see. And there's a territorial issue. He says issues are on the table. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Nope. This is first of all, President Trump avoided escalation of World War III. Secondly, achieved the first ceasefire. Well, I just read that. There was some other language. I don't open so many articles. There's some other language, some I won't say it there. Anyway, but Mark Root again, he's saying that he's, of course, the NATO General Secretary, that Putin is running out of money, troops, and ideas, like Putin's going to kill you. But they've been saying that since the very start of the war. I've heard this song and dance before. Is it true now? Is it more like the boy crying wolf? I don't know. We do know that there's been 1 million Russian soldiers that have been casualties, meaning injured or were pushing daisies. The numbers for Ukraine don't look so good, but Russia's got more people to draw from than Ukraine. So I don't know that holds any water, but that's what they're saying. But that may be just a language to try to draw the United States further into it. They both NATO and Ukraine are really trying to draw the United States into this. And I really hope that Trump finds a way to stay clear. We'll see how that works out. Cross your fingers and pray. We do not need to be in this one. But, hey, how do we wind up so dadgum dependent on China? We let our greed outrun our common sense. You don't rely on the enemy for all your key essentials like rare earth minerals, which all our technology needs. How about medicines? Beijing's control of life-saving medicines threatens American health and safety. Well, why in the world do we ever allow this in the first place? Well, thank you, Billy Clinton, for giving them most favored trade status. They never deserved it in the first place because the way they treat the Uyghurs, the way they treat the Falun Gong, the way they treat Tibet, what they're doing in the South China Sea now. But China is here trying to negotiate a trade treaty. Now, what you need to know, and this is what I've been saying in the past, is that China's threat to Taiwan isn't dependent on Xi Jinping. And saying that even if he should kick a bucket, start pushing daisies, or decide suddenly he wants to retire, which he shows no sign of right now, uh, that all the different heads of state and the core of the CCP have always been adamant since the days of Mao Zedong for taking Taiwan one way or another. So don't think for a minute that they're going to change their mind on that. A lot of people think, oh, if Xi Jinping goes away, it'll be roses. Yeah, I remember Deng Xiaoping, as I showed you in the past, had a policy of basically laying down and hiding, hide and bide, I think something like that. Hide and bide your time on the buildup of the capabilities that we're having, because they wanted to build up their capabilities to be able to take us on, and they didn't really want us to see it. They didn't want to rattle the sabers, so we'd feel comfortable at first, and we're really following Sun Tzu philosophy. Relax. Can I get you a drink? Can I get you something? Just relax. Everything's okay. Just go to sleep. Don't worry your little head. And they're walking behind you, and if you know what I mean. Uh, yeah, don't trust the communists. You can never trust communists. And another thing is that they don't hold any treaty unless it serves their purpose. And yet we're talking about a new treaty. China Commerce Minister says Beijing and Washington can totally find ways to resolve disputes. I don't think we need to, because they showed their hand with the rare earth minerals, how they could play checkmate on us. What we need to do is get out from under that. We need to be resilient. We need to be independent. We need to have all that stuff produced in the Western Bloc world. And nobody in the Western Bloc should be reliant on this. Yeah, Europe's running into problems with the same stuff that we are. Duh. Duh, right? So, all the Western world. And you know what? The global South will be running into trouble too. In fact, they're already heads over heels in debt to the Belt and Roads Initiative. So China's going all kind of ways to grab and seize stuff, and they're making strong inroads into South America and Latin America in general, Central America, Caribbean. We'll talk more about that. They got a big base on Cuba. Of course, they got people right here in the United States. Wow. Like I've said, China's at war with us, and we're just too darn dumb to know it. And that's why we shouldn't be negotiating anything unless it's an immediate emergency need that we have. Right now, we do need the medicines, we do need the rares, but we need to be changing how we operate. That's where tariffs come in good. Tariffs force you to pay more for the junk you get from them, which makes it easier, more cost effective to manufacture stuff here. We need to manufacture here. We need to produce our own essentials. Don't rely on your enemy for the things you need to stay alive. Don't rely on a guy that wants to take you out for the things you need to live. What sense does that make? Ding, 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 ding. I have a hard time saying it. Now, if you disagree with that, put a one in the chat room. If you agree with me, put a two. I'd like to know what y'all think about it. Because apparently I've been getting a bunch of thumbs downs lately on some of these videos. And I'd really like for somebody, if they're going to give me a thumbs down, to come out and tell me why. What is it that's bugging you? What's eating at you? I've had a number of unsubscriptions lately too on this channel. I don't know why. But somebody just don't like to hear this, I guess. But I'm just putting it out there like it is. We've got some risk, and we got to pay attention to it. We got to reorder our house to be able to take care of ourselves. What is stupid about being able to take care of yourself? I have a hard time saying that. I mentioned several times that when I was up at Fort Greely, Alaska, we had this two-star general. I think his name was Kohler, come to us and really talk to us about defense logistics and the need for having manufacturing here in the United States, and the need not to let adversaries cut us off at the choke points around the world, like around the Drake Passage, Panama Canal, Cape Hope, all these different places like that. And yeah, that's exactly what we're on the verge of doing if we're not watching it. We've allowed so much to get slipped through our fingers, it's not funny. But back in the 80s, it wasn't so bad. And people knew and understood that, but somehow we listened to other voices and we got ourselves in deep trouble here, in my humble opinion. Anyway, now let's change the news a little bit. Everybody's saying, oh, nobody wants this to drill up in the Alaska Northwest, and especially the natives. No, the natives are cheering that Trump administration is trying to undo Biden's tie-up of all the energy resources in Alaska. Why? Because they'll get revenue out of it. So they're actually happy over it. That's the Alaska pipeline right there. That thing stretches all the way from the north to the south of Alaska. And these little fins here are to radiate heat. It's mounted on pads, and it's to keep it from melting. The permafrost, or wherever it's permafrost, it's mounted like this. When there's not permafrost, it goes underground. I have been to those places where it transitions from looking like this to going underground for a short piece, and I've actually got up and walked on it. And Alaska is the company that controls it. They fly security helicopters up and down it. If it had caught me, I'd have been in deep trouble, but I had to take the risk. I just had to get up on it for a little bit. I didn't hear no helicopters, didn't hear no whirly birds. So I got up on it and kind of walked up on it a little bit. They wouldn't do this, not even gonna damage it, but boy, they would not have liked it. But that is a big pipeline there. And then I had problems with that pipeline. All the stuff people worried about never happened. So here's a new fighter jet, an AI fighter jet that has a single jet engine in it. It's a drone that can take off and land uh, uh, vertically instead of horizontally. It does not need an airstrip, so it can launch this thing from anything, and it can accompany F-35s or whatever we're sending out, or it can go on missions by itself. So it can be a wingman or execute missions by itself. This thing is kind of interesting. So. AI behind the autonomous F-16. So we'll go here into earthquakes. Yeah, we're about through the news part. We're going to get through it fast tonight because we started late. A lot of earthquakes here in the West. Look at all that. And a lot of them up in Alaska, on the Aleutian Islands. Man, the DAC has been shaken. 5.0 on the DAC. Kamchatka Peninsula still having a bunch of earthquakes. 5.3. Oh, that's in the Krill Islands. Part that Russia's taken. And we got a fresh one right down here. In Kempo, California, 2.9. That looks almost to be in Mexico. Let's zoom in a little bit, have a closer look at some of those. Yeah, it's right on the border. And none of these like they're right on the San Andres. Nevada, Tonopah. There's another, looks like it's still in Nevada. Yep, Kingston. Another Nevada, Valmy. So we'll look at globally. There's a big one. 6.0 in the Solomon Islands. Something you may not be aware of is the Solomon Islands have went in and kind of bought influence, and the Chinese have, and they're basically taking the place over. They had a prime minister who was rallying against China, and for some reason he went up pushing daisies. He was trying to wake people up, the United States in particular, what we were at risk of losing there, because the Chinese are trying to take influence on as many of these islands as possible, which will not be good for us if we get into conflict with China. Now we look at the sun. We got a number of little sunspots looking at us. Nothing ginormous here, but we know there was a bunch of big CMEs on the other side of the sun, so something could be rolling around real soon. It could turn ugly fast. Right now we got a minor G1 alert for CME. The aurora's not too bad at the moment. Come on down here and look at the X flare, the risk of X flares are like 1%, not too big at the moment. We've had a lot of near passes, asteroids, and we had one just on the 22nd at 0.7 distance between the Earth and the Sun, Earth and the Moon, excuse me. And then we had one on the 25th. Yeah, just yesterday. It would have been today if I'd have started this soon enough. To me, it's still the 25th. I hadn't gone to bed yet. So 6/10 of the way between the Earth and the Moon. But what we see coming, it's always we find those after they pass us. Anything looking ahead don't look so bad usually. So we're discovering a lot of little asteroids. That's what it boils down to. So we'll know next time they come around. Anyway, so that's the news portion. I'm going to go to the chat room. So for the coffee club drinkers that want a little news in the morning or watching, that's pretty much it. You can get ready for church now and head on out. So I'm going to post a video. I'm going to be posting some videos on galactic grids. I got some other content put on here. So if I got time to produce it all, I got 3 videos recorded to upload to Galactic Greg's, and for at least the first one, I'll probably do a premiere like I've done a lot recently. If it's long enough, I got 2 of them around 30 minutes. I'll do premieres on those. I got one that's like 11 minutes, so I'll probably just post it. That would make for a very short premiere. I don't know unless y'all want to see it that way. I could. If y'all want to see it in premiere, put a 4 in the chat room. If not, put a 3. So let me go to the chat room now. In fact, I'm going to pull it up on the computer if it's still there. Oh, I'm logged on as Galactic Greg's on my computer. That's funny. It reminded me that I was a mod. You know, say when you log your own channel on. Oh, the whole screen shut off on me. I hate it when it does that. Yikes. All right. So let's see what's going on here. Bake King was the first in here. He says you guys 5x5. That's good to know. That is good to know. I'm going to check my email real quick. Just make sure that not somebody still in the wrong one. All right. It's Impossible is not in the house tonight. All righty. So 5x5. Hello, says Vape King. Lima Charlie LS Soldier Sergeant Randy. How you doing? Arnold Schmidt. Don Patoka. I mean, we got in the house. How many people are watching? 65. That's not so bad considering a crazy hour here. Yeah, Leslie's a big supporter. I really appreciate her, and a friend, as many of you are. All right. Trump seemed to ditch Zelensky. Same too. He's really trying to get everybody up to the negotiating table. Let's hope he can pull it off. These guys don't want to negotiate. Neither one really wants to negotiate. That's the crazy thing. Trump needs to pull 100% out of Ukraine. There you go. I agree, Jeremy. We need to get the heck out of that and leave it to Europe to worry about. Jeremy, that is the problem. They're throwing around World War III like it's like they forget what nuclear weapons are. Maybe it's been too long since World War II, since Japan was attacked with nuclear weapons. Maybe it's just been too long. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with you? You shouldn't be. Oh yeah, one of those articles I didn't read all the way down. Well, that guy who was talking against the tomahawks. He says, people act like they don't understand what it's like to attack a nuclear power. Russia is very much a nuclear power, and it's just nuts what we're talking about here. Arnold Smith, DJT is trying to show the political institutions with the religious institution. It's trying to show the political institution with the religious institutions, just like it was back in 1260 or 538 to 1789. 538 was a year with one of the years of no summers, Arnold. That was a devastating year around the world. Rome really fell apart then because the politics and religion don't mix. Yeah, if there are states that are, founded on religion, like Iran. And those kind of countries tend to be scary, especially Iran, especially a faith that spreads by the saber. Uh, we get an evil troll in here. All right, get some twos. Hold the gap was a real threat. J Frog, that's a cool name. Greg, I'm an ex-Marine, a truck driver, and love the outdoors. I want to live off the bridge. Can I come and stay out there with you where I can work 1 or 2 weekends a month? I really don't want anybody living on my property here, but if you want to, there's plenty of places available around me. If you want to come to the area, that would be appreciated, especially if you're ex-Marine. I like to get to know people. I made a mistake of letting somebody come onto my property that I thought I knew from Facebook, and I didn't really know him. And I thought one of us was going to wind up off in the other. It got really intense. So I got a little bit of a road rash still from that. So I got to be careful. I'm not saying anything against you. I just like to really know people. I mean, really know them well before I even let them come down here. Nobody comes to my property unless I know them ahead of time. People just don't come here. It's not personal to that. It's just I care about my security. I had too many things stolen from me in Alabama. They don't happen here. I'm in a dead end of a long road. But come. There are a lot of great places around here, and this is a great place for a homesteader, prepper. And land is cheap around here. So you might look into that. And then we can kind of get to know each other. And if it all works out, we can form a mutual assistance group, a survival tribe. But, mold. Yeah, somebody named Mold. Excess Master Crafty. All right, J Frog. I'm trying to offend you, J Frog. It's not anything like that. Hey, we got Christy in the house. Christy easily. Terrorists are dumb. Well, we're going to tax. You're going to pay taxes one way or another. Why not skew the tax in such a way that it favors American manufacturing, labor here at home? Why not favor in such a way that we're not so dependent on our enemies to provide our essential needs? Well, now giving money to Argentina is outside the realm of what taxes. I mean, anything tax, tariffs or otherwise. That's not a good America First policy. There may be other reasons for it. Mega death, random clicker. This could be what we're facing here. Why are we involved with NATO? Our folks need help. I agree, Juanita. I agree with that, especially. Knucklehead Garage. That's a good name for a mechanic. Knucklehead Garage. I like that. Let's see. And that's some reference to flathead engines or something like that, or I believe that's a mechanical term that's been used. Yeah. Let's see here. You got a fellow Albertian, random clicker, PNW Greens. Calgary, there we go. You grow greens up there, PNW? So you Albertans ought to tell me, is Alberta going to secede from Canada? I'm hearing a lot of dangerous stuff about Canada taking freedoms away. Many different sources. J Frog, I can pay rent, but mostly joking. Okay. All right. Hey, seriously, if you want a bug out place, there's a lot of properties here. You can get them cheap. One of the good things, you gotta pay attention to your water sources. That's the main thing out here. Water. But there's ways to handle that. maybe extensive rainwater collection. Can't be minor because it is a desert and it's very things vary a lot out here from year to year. And or a well. Wells are expensive here. You'll pay a lot more money for a well than you will for your property. Uh, that said, uh, there's a lot of Mormons in there, and the Mormons are by definition preppers. And out here where I'm living, just a lot of people because it's off-grid homesteading. A ginormous portion are preppers out here. The ratio of preppers non-preppers here is the best I've seen anywhere. So when the grid goes down, a lot of places you got to worry about all your neighbors eating you. You got to worry about that anywhere, including here, but it's not nearly as bad here. Not nearly as bad here. Tariffs is about who pays the taxes. Do the people that make the money? Well, look, the bigger, richer people will be buying more stuff, so they will pay more tariffs. I think the people that make the money should pay the taxes. All right, Jeremy, it's good to see you. Larry Shute says, Harley, no. Okay, yeah, it's a motorcycle. Yeah, I knew it was something mechanical. I couldn't remember the term. I just can't put it in my head quite. Scott Mack, I'm in Alberta. I'm done. Kind of afraid to say it. Oh, you're banking for secession then? Carney is here just to bankrupt the country and then resign and leave us in a big mess. That's how they try to get you into the House of Klaus. That's the whole game there. Keep your nug handy. Amen, Juanita. Hey, old Fort Bragg's in the house. Mini C-17 yesterday from Fort Bragg. Yeah, something's probably going on. I have been out here at nighttime, and it's a military flight formation when you see two or three, especially three flying in the same path, not too far behind the other. Civilian planes don't fly like that. And I've been seeing a whole lot of that in the skies overhead. Three planes. Just about anytime you go out, spend a few minutes outside, you're going to see three of the aircraft tracking behind each other. Same route. Way up. That's military. Yeah, C-17 is a powerhouse. When I worked at the Marshall Space Flight Center, I worked in the towers there, some of the big tall office buildings, and we had an airfield there, and you'd see these. Sometimes these planes would come buzz right around the building. I've seen the C-17s come in real close, around. That was a real sight to see. And I've also seen the NASA Super Guppy do the same. So that was interesting. The people pay for the politicians' games. That's what it boils down to. What we need is to get rid of all these governments. The biggest government we need is a council of elders, tribal. I think that's about all. And Jesse Tolbert, how you doing? Zombies and looters better think twice for a mess with Arizona preppers. You got that right. You got that right. Absolutely. That's one of the things I like about it around here. Is they tell you, you go to somebody else's homestead, you might not leave. It may not be of your willingness. So you don't just, most homesteads out here are gated off. You don't just go and knock on the door. That'll happen out here. So the tariffs are to you. People pay for the politician. Well, it's a tax. You pay taxes one way or another. If you had to choose how you're going to pay your taxes, you might think about how you would appropriate in a way that would really be more beneficial to the country rather than just paying right out of your salary. But they're going to take you from you one way or the other. And we do have a lot of national debt to pay down. I don't think we'll ever do it. I think we'll wind up going bankrupt and the whole place. I don't think the federal government's going to last in its current form too many years. Because we're actually paying more for the interest on our debt than we're paying for national defense. And we just got a lot of expenditures that just don't make sense. So thank you, Jeremy, for being in the house. I hear NASA's going to try to shoot down the comet. No, they're not. They ain't got nothing to shoot it with. That whole most of the articles on that cast it wrong. It's basically an activity, the Minor Planet Center, which is not just NASA. NASA is a big contributor to it, but there's other people that work through that. It's a watch. They're just going to have an exercise of monitoring the comet when it gets back in view, when it comes back around the sun. That's all that is. It's so that gets overplayed in so many articles, so many YouTube channels. Go back and watch my last article on the Green Galactic Greg's channel. I talked about 3i Atlas. I believe I pulled that up, the whole statement, their whole thing they published, and they're just watching it, more watching. You hear anything about that rock in space that's moving fast? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, you can go see what I published over on Galactic Grades. I've done several videos. I did one with uh, Rex Bear on the LEAP project, and watch that video too. So yeah, he always asks me a bunch of questions, and we have a good time in the LEAP project. So we're going to end the video here earlier than normal. We're 40 minutes in. 3 Mile in. Super Guppy was resting at Lubbock International Airport when I was learning to fly. So I was able to get a good look. Yeah, it's an impressive aircraft. So it's time to guess how many eggs we got. Mars Sense, how you doing? JBL. Oh, wait, before we do the egg guess, Glenn May. Glenn May was a real rocketeer. He used to put rocket motors on bicycles. He put them on a canoe, all kind of stuff. And he was a fun guy. He loved his rockets, and uh, I mean, he just really loved them. He lived up in Memphis, which was about a 4-hour drive from Huntsville. He came down all the time to help us with our Halo projects, to help us with Heart. Oh, we got egg guesses already. Okay, well, we got a winner already too. Mars Sense, exactly 3. Mars Sense got it. First guess. This is twice in a row. The first guesser got it. There it is. 3 eggs. 3 eggs. I think I got 2 yesterday, but I believe when we had the last first guess, it was 6. Marcent's got it. He was the first one. Yeah, I was hoping I was going to get 5. Well, I want NASA to release the HD photos of 3i Atlas from early October. What are they hiding? Well, Big Worm, uh, I explained on that video. Go watch videos on my Galactic Greg's channel. Uh, you can just take, let me put Halo in here. You can click on my name here and it'll take you there. Halo. I just did a video where I explained that exactly. An oddball thing. It is strange because everybody says, oh, we're not sending because NASA shut down. Well, that instrument is operated by the University of Arizona, and other universities are involved in it. We're talking about the high-res instrument on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. But its best resolution is only going to be about 30 kilometers at best. And that'll be the best resolution we can get anywhere from any of the instruments. So that we're not getting that is rather strange, especially the government shutdown is not an excuse because it's been operated by the University of Arizona, the high-res instrument. Unless they have to get approval from NASA to release stuff, but there's grad students work on it too. And they're not beholden to nobody, really. Grad students, they're notorious for doing whatever the heck they want to. And, somebody, if they got it, would be famous if they released it. So why is a grad student not coming out with it? Don't make any sense. So 3 eggs, that was it tonight. So go watch I need some watchers over on the Galactic Graves channel. We need some views over there, guys. So if you want to watch the stuff, I got probably 4 videos on 3i Atlas over there. And then I got the Dark Fortress. The Dark Fortress is a spooky concept that explains the Fermi paradox as an offshoot. It's not Dark Forest. I'm saying Dark Fortress. This is my own theory. I kind of expanded it. It makes more sense, but it could also explain 3i Atlas and a lot of other stuff. Yeah. So let me see. Maybe I can pull up that channel and show what I'm talking about. Hang on, guys. Give me a second. Channel. All right, we're going to do another screen share. Oop, hit the wrong screen. Dang it. I got two Zoom screens. I always hit the wrong one first. I always close it, but it always pops up. I'm trying to click. I don't know what that is. Hang on. Share screen. Bing, 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 bing. All right, this is my Galactic Greg's channel. And there was quite a while I didn't post anything because YouTube demonetized this channel. And I didn't know they did because you weren't posting to it. And I never saw that in any of the policies. So I'm trying to get it monetized, but I need watch time. So if y'all come here and watch or just even play some of the videos, it would help me out a little bit. But sometimes different things come up. Those are videos in the past. That one is one you want to watch. But if you look at just videos, these are the latest ones. And one way to really see the latest ones is just click videos up here. And you can sort them by latest, most popular, oldest. But 3i Atlas, why no pics from the Mars MRO? Bingo, huh? That's what this video is dedicated to. So watch that video. And then watch this one over here on the WWIII signal, particularly. Is it a spacecraft? So over here, talk about it here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 videos on 3i Atlas. And then there's this one. This one don't have nearly the views that I ought to have. I got all kind of graphics in here. And because this is a spooky topic, I took on kind of a spooky ambience to deliver it. I even did a lot of it in poetry because I thought it would make it have better delivery. But, it's not done as well as any of these other videos over here. I don't know why. So check this video out. It's, I got a groundbreaking answer to the Fermi paradox here that makes a lot of sense. But it's not all bad because in the end, I really explain how those vast resources in the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud, you could replicate the surface area of the Earth 35,700 times. And you could have 2.2 billion times the population we have on Earth out there inside of icy comets. And you can actually have a nice world inside out. So check it out. So it's not all gloom and doom. So I'll probably break apart bits and pieces of that to make other videos kind of taking off on some of the various topics I brought up in there. The only tough part is in the middle. I've kind of gone through a torturous explanation of, of how many people you could have here and there. But that was really to build the case for how many aliens could be in these dark fortresses if they exist and if they should be populating them, and why that would be the preferred way to go about it. And why, yeah, if they were going to visit us, it would be just like we're seeing 3i Atlas. I'm not saying that's what it is, probably just a rock, but probably it's an asteroid instead of a comet, just giving spectral data on it. So I just wanted you to see that. I'll stop the share. But check my channel out, Galactic Graves. I need some eyeballs over there, some watch time. All right, let's see what folks are saying. What did I miss here in the chat room? Galactic Gregs. Now, you got to, here, I'm going to say Halo again. It's the same name. You're going to see here on the screen when I say Halo. Now, there is, see, it's Galactic Gregs. There's a Galactic Greg. He's a preacher. And there's another channel. It's Galactic Greg's *S. That's a comic store. You don't want to go to the comic store unless you want to buy some comics. I think he's in Ohio. You don't want to, you might get something out of Galactic Greg the Preacher. I don't know. But this is, yeah, you'll see my face wearing my hat, my special hat there, which got down here somewhere. It's a little too hot to put it on. Well, yeah, I got to set this thing up to wear it properly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yes, that's in the thumbnail picture for the channel. So, yeah, one of my friends in Utah made that for me. That's it. You got it, Scott. Go over there and watch some of my videos. The most popular videos. Let me go back there. Ding, 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 ding. If you go here and hit popular, these are the most popular videos. This video is these two videos. I combined them here. I broke them apart when I first posted them because I just thought it was too long. But I wanted to do a different lead in, and actually it was more popular, the longer version. This is a room full of advanced propulsion people from the Marshall Space Flight Center. And the guy right there, he's actually the father of the lady speaking. He's got a lab at Marshall Space Flight Center. He does very advanced propulsion. The head of Marshall's Advanced Propulsion Center, who retired, was in the audience. Uh, Everybody in there is an engineer or a scientist. There is no, anti-gravity is the subject. This is a review of anti-gravity technologies because Miss Amy Eskridge had set up a foundation to try to fund an institute to try to fund anti-gravity research. She was a smart young lady. She's no longer with us. This is a very risky area to do business in. Let's just put it that way. I should probably come out with a video just talking about that. I did a little bit, maybe over here in the Where's Elon's UFO video. Trying to see, I was here when I made that video. So you might want to check that out. Fusion to warp drive, that might be one that would interest you. What is DOD hiding? U.S. has space-time warp tech. I think this one is one of the most interesting videos I got. It's not done as well as some of those others, but U.S. Army anti-gravity program. Yes, the Army had one. Probably still does. So you might want to check that out. Let's just click on somebody and just let them play. Here I'm talking about the F1 engine. Pretty good detail, which is the strongest rocket engine America's ever had, at least liquid fuel. So, a number of topics in here. Well, SpaceX nuke Boca Chica. I think that's still an open question. Colonize Venus first before you go to Mars. This is one that Rex and I was talking about on the LEAP project. Light from voice anomaly. Anti-gravity developer in prison. Not from space. I'm talking about UFOs. You know what I'm saying? They're not from up there. What are they? So, a lot of stuff in here. Here I am doing an interview with Bob Zubrin. I know him well. He founded the Mars Society. So some of them are real technical. Fuel depots in orbit. EMP balloon tech, that's on Green Greg's also. I got the camera views from some of these balloon launch rockets. This is one of my good friends who's advanced propulsion from Marshall. Worked on light cells. Les Johnson. Let's see, there's my rocket motor. Tim Pickens. Here I'm with Rex talking about how to defeat space aliens. Yeah, I did a video of how to take them out. Who else gives you that kind of content? So somewhere I got my universal habitat. There should be several videos on that. Let's see what that is. Look here. You'll see me sitting in the remnants of the DC-6 rocket there. There I am, sitting in the DC-6 rocket. The remnants of it. It was in my backyard for years and years in Alabama. All right, where is my universal? Now, this is kind of a spinoff of my universal habitat concept. I got a video of them here too. Where is it? It's on Green Greg's also. Might be easier to find. EMP balloon attack. It's on both channels. Now, there's a review of the universal habitat with me flying through my concept rendered out in something called Kitely on Mars. So this is a one rendering of it. Basically, I'm flying like Superman around there. That's kind of like secular Earth, or I don't know what you call that stuff. What do you call those things? Yeah. Where is it at? It's in here somewhere. Universal habitat. Shoot. One way you can find things is when you're in videos, just click the, you can't really do this from a phone. There it is. I don't know why I couldn't find it scrolling through there. See that one? That's an older video, older version, but here I had a architect draw it up for me rather than my crummy hand drawings. And so this is a really good video. It's also on Green Greg's. I need some watch time, so if you'll watch it here, it'd help me out. That's a couple of different videos of this on Mars. Playlist. Anyway, enough said of all that. Stop the share. I'm gonna come back to my chat room and see what I missed while I was exploring that. Oh, you always love that hat. Okay. Maybe I need to wear it some more. I haven't worn that hat in a long time. Hey, Eddie Bowie, how you doing? Need to thank you for all your information, Greg. Well, thank you, Juanita, for the good compliment. Big Worm. I'll watch your videos, Greg. Thanks. Hey, I got some worms. I got worms, Big Worm. Remember that video? So sad that yeah. A lot more people are thinking that it was done to her. So, just like so many inventors having their stuff seized. Well, when you seized, she's pushing daisies. John Cole's in the house, checking in on Hurricane Melissa's forecast landfall. Jamaica's Cat 5. That's scary. Skymac, I hope you can collab with Canadian Prepper again. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get on this program. It's hard to get his attention. He may not like me so much because we don't absolutely see eye to eye, though we're close. If you want a zero-G Glock, yeah, the Glock is stopping production, I think, because of California guys. So it's crazy the stuff that we're losing access to. Colonel Cole told me that he had to contact 7 stores before he found one that had what he's looking for. And he only had one, and he got it. So pay attention, guys, right now. Our options are getting more limited every day because of dumb stuff like that. Anyway, we got 79 in the house. That's good. Well, I think it's time to call it a night. We've been going for 58 minutes. And all I want to say is I thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. Thank you, Leslie, for the wonderful super chat. I am most appreciative. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And to one and all, a good night. Ho, ho, ho. Watch all my videos. Share, comment below. Share them. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Lot will no longer ship due to, California laws. I think California messes everything. We're letting California mess us up, guys. It's terrible. Terrible. California laws would be messing the rest of the country up, but that's what's happening. Ruger. Yeah, I got Rugers. Wow. Yeah, you want to get the older stuff. Trust me. You don't want to get some Californianized Nug. Absolutely. All righty. Well, again, folks, I'm going to say once again, thank you all for watching. Subscribe, bang the bell, click all, uh, and please leave some comments below so we can. It all helps the algorithms. Comment somebody else's comment. And go over to my Galactic Growth channel and watch some of those videos, especially if you want to know more about 3i Atlas. I shoot down a ton of other things other people are saying, but it's still, any way you look at it, it's a strange rock. It is strange. It is really strange, but all that aside. So with that, I'm going to say,